First question for you. Where is the trophy?
It's sitting on my desk at the field house. If you really want to know where it's at, that's where it is. It did spend the night at a couple of people's houses, but it is now back in its home. And once we have our banquet and we graduate the seniors Friday night, that trophy will go downstairs with all the other state championship trophies of the sports that are based at our field house.
I asked that question because in the coaches that we've been talking with, it's like, yeah, it's here with me. I can look at it right now. One coach, I think it was Coach Jackson for Blessed Trinity, he had kind of panicked a little bit because he lost track of it. And during the celebration the night before, he wakes up the next morning and he's like, "Oh, where is it? Where is it?" My assistant said, "Oh yeah, it's okay, it's over here." That's why I wanted to know where the trophy was and if it had survived the evening, because there are trophy stories that are attached to these guys.
Yeah, there is. And afterwards, we were getting on the bus and we were all wanting to get pictures, out of the way of the crowd. And I was like, "Girls, where's the trophy?" We couldn't find it for 5 minutes. And finally, one of the girls, comes walking up. "I have it, coach." So great story, but it has found its home. We'll bring it out a couple of times for a couple of things that are planned, but what a great accomplishment for these girls. It's their trophy.
Yeah, when you knock on the door as many times as you have, and you finally get the opportunity to have the key work, you turn the doorknob and you can work your way through. What has that meant to finally get that moment, and what it has meant for everything that you've been able, you and the assistant coaches and everybody that's associated with the program, to finally get that opportunity?
When you get as close as we got the last two times, I think you kind of, I guess, create another layer of skin to know that it could happen, but it very well couldn't happen. When Oconee scored to tie with 12 minutes left, and, heat was a factor, lots of things had happened, I thought to myself, we got to find something deep. So the energy had to pick up just from me. It had to pick up from the assistant coaches. But when we get to overtime, I said to the girls, I said, "You got 20 minutes to do this. And it's 20 minutes for the rest of your life, And then you go to PKs and you get as close as we did. The fifth kick gets called back. We rush the field only to come back to the sideline. And you think to yourself, here we are. It comes down to one kick.
Mm-hmm.
And that one kick separated us from a state championship to a runner-up. And I said, I think to the AJC lady, I said, third time's a charm. I believe that now. It took us 3 times to get there, but 3 different groups to do it. And this group did it. And that's what sets them apart.
In a moment, or a string of moments, or however many minutes you want to refer to it, I'll refer to that whole block of time in PKs as a moment.
Mm-hmm.
How do you keep your composure, keep your head? How did you develop that state where you're focused on what's going on in front of you? And because I'm sure that there are some coaches that will have a fit of berserk that will rival nothing. How did you come to that point in your DNA where I've got to keep my composure, focus on what's going on? Does the world slow down in those kinds of moments for you? How did you develop the idea of keeping your composure?
Well, I am getting older. I can tell you that.
But CS coefficients go down as we get older, though.
Well, I tell you, I think the more that I've coached through the years, the more the coach feels about things, the more it rubs off on the players. So one of the things that we decided before the season was we would be sitting in chairs to keep composure. As coaches, the sustainers, are what we call the substitutes, would bring the energy, but let us trust us to do our job. In and of itself, John, it's funny that you get to a PK shootout in a state game like that, And the one person, the one player throughout the entire season that has held the composure when we practice these PK shootouts, we practice them at least once, if not twice a week, is Isabel Eichert, our goalkeeper. And you got to watch the PK shootout. Like that is her moment, but it all fell on her. And for her to keep her composure, why not us keep our composure with it? You can't scream it, you can't direct it. Um, you got to trust her. So, in all the moments leading up to that PK shootout, those girls trusted us as coaches to do what we do best. But yet, then in that PK shootout, we had to trust her. So, our composure, our focus had to be trusted upon her, but not just her. It had to be the five girls that were up there for the kick. And statistically, we have we have followed it all season from the first PK shootout with Buford. Our lineup had changed a little bit, and we studied other people's PK shootouts and how they went through those moments. And, was it a perfect PK shootout? I wouldn't say it was perfect, but it was perfect enough for win. And for someone like Emmy Reed, who is really our third PK shooter, but statistically, Ava missed her first PK. And that's going to happen under pressure. Like those are the things that we have practiced. We had to then put Ariel and Sammy in as the third and the fourth PK shooter. They knew that when they got up to that line, that if one of the first two had missed, the other girls are going up. That is composure in itself, because here you have planned it and now you got to change it on the fly, but it's not something that I can tell them while they're up there. They knew that. So for Emmy Reed, who had not played a minute of that state game, to go up and kick that fifth kick, knowing that her kick was going to possibly win the game, it just shows, as coaches, we got to emulate what we speak, and that's composure and focus, and they did that.
What's it like having underclassmen being as composed as they are in that kind of a situation?
It just shows that the leadership has to be there from the start, and it's got to be passed down. If I don't believe it, if the seniors don't believe it, the other girls aren't going to believe it. And I think throughout the season, John, we don't play a full game season. We try to play, at a max of 16 games, knowing that playoffs are inevitable for us. I think that also teaches us to have a little bit of rest and recovery built in for that. But at the same time, you learn something about yourself through every single game that you play. And what we learned in that first game against Buford helped us in the last game against Oconee. And that was across the board from freshmen up.
What did you learn about yourself in this season?
Well, personally, you got to trust the girls. You got to put trust in them, and they got to feel that trust. They got to feel that confidence. But more so as a team, it was about relationship. And the more that we played, the more that we trusted each other, the more that we gave, not just to the soccer aspect of it, but to little girls that would show up to our games and want to run out with them, or want to, be a part of the team huddle. It was about that relationship and about establishing those certain memories. I mean, John, the day before our state championship game, one of the girls that has followed us since she was in kindergarten, she's in third grade now, her dad said, "Hey, can she just come watch y'all's practice?" I was like, "Sure, why not?" Well, she ended up helping us participate in some of the things at practice. So, John, what a memory that little girl made. And those were the things that we focused on as a team. It wasn't just the soccer. We knew that if we did certain things the right way, that something good was going to come about it, whether it was going to win a state championship or win a runner up. We knew that we did the right thing.
What was it like for you as a mom? Because I guess my follow-up question there is, first off, how is Marin, by the way?
She's doing great. She's on day 6. We, won the championship Tuesday night. My husband and I packed a borrowed van from the Rodriguez family to take her to Birmingham. We had surgery Thursday. We're back home. You know, my oldest daughter taught me when she tore her ACL in the Elite Eight in 2022 that sometimes you just got to take a step back and enjoy the moment. And I had to do that Tuesday night. I had to put my family on hold until that state championship game because she did not want to have surgery before that state championship. And she tore it on April 3rd, or excuse me, April 30th.
Mhm.
So right in the middle of playoffs. But the beauty of what we learned through this is it never is going to be about one player. Although I may be her mother, it's got nothing to do with the team. um, Girls stepped up. We had girls stepping up throughout the entire season. But when you go in to play a Bristol Kirsch and an Ashley Scott at Cherokee Bluff, knowing that your starting midfielder is out for the rest of the year, other people had to adjust. And John, I mean, out of the entire playoffs, out of the four girls that could not play, we had 22 that played total, and everybody got to experience something. So Marin's doing great, on the road to recovery. Kind of stinks it happened when it did, but we also lost Chloe Robertson in the season. We lost Lucy Griffin, one of our backup forwards during the playoffs, and then Jessie Hopcraft, who I call the ACL Barbie. Um, she tore it in the inter squad scrimmage and was a senior. So, those are just little things that you learn along the way. But gosh, have I learned that this never is going to be just about soccer.
So when I mentioned this group of seniors, what sticks in your head about this group and the impact that they're going to leave both on the field and off? Because while we are talking about soccer, we are talking about folks that are a part of a larger family. When I
Hmm.
mentioned this group of seniors, what sticks in your head?
This, on record, the best senior group that's ever come through. I say that every year because it just keeps getting better with them. But these girls, 10 of them, 9 out of the 10 has been a part of our school system since elementary school. Ariel Vermillion moved over here because her brother wanted to be a wrestler, and we attracted Ariel because she played soccer, with several of our girls. But Ariel was the only one that did not come through our middle school program. So she, I mean, blended right into it. And, Ariel's our center back, number 10, who played her last soccer game. I think the best soccer game she could have ever played was in that state game. But these senior girls, every one of them, has been a part of something that they know is much bigger than themselves. The legacy that they have built. I wish I could share every one of their legacy letters that they read to our program back in March when we had our legacy dinner. Every one of them said, "Don't take a moment for granted." They have poured into not just our program, but into the entire school system. I mean, our salutatorians in this group, we have girls going to UGA, Coastal Carolina, Georgia College, UNG, South Carolina State, Georgia Tech. Not a big fan, but we'll support it because she's there. Um, we've got girls going to Western Carolina, Emmanuel University. So we have them going everywhere. And what the beauty of this senior group is, they're going to take what they've learned here and go make something else better.
So when I guess this is the start of the philosophical questions. When you look at your day one to now,
Hmm.
how has the sport grown there in Jefferson since you arrived and are now where you are?
When I went in for the interview, I said to the people, I said, if you don't have a local community of soccer built around this, I've learned previously before I got here that it's hard if you don't have everybody bought into this. And in 2016, when I got here, Alliance Soccer Club was established. We had Athens United, we had LSA, we had AFU, we had GSA. Um, they were established, but the community aspect of it really kicked up when Chris J, who's now the Alliance Soccer Director, he's our middle school coach, came in and poured his heart into it. That increased numbers, it increased the platform for our elementary school kids to get into. And this senior group is a product of that. Um, I believe 7 of the 10 all played at Alliance growing up, never left. Uh, Others went to AFU and LSA. If you have, like we have, an established soccer club like Alliance and like the others that I mentioned, greater things can happen in your soccer program at a high school. More so, though, greater things happen in the community of it. Now, when I was growing up in Athens, it was the Apple Jacks, it was Athens United, and that was it. And now that you've got the proximity of what we've got, these girls don't have any excuse to say they don't have an opportunity to play.
So, when you look at things from a high school soccer perspective, what do you think the most important thing about high school soccer in the state of Georgia is?
Okay, well, I'm going to go to Jason Longshore's article that brought tears to my eyes at 4:30 yesterday morning when I read it. Because I went back, John, and I thought what I had growing up
Mm-hmm.
in Athens was because of maybe a couple of individual people.
Mm-hmm.
But now you've got high school soccer, and people will still say, oh, high school soccer doesn't mean anything. The ones that truly don't get it, the ones that may think that it's a passer offer type thing, oh, it's not important. They're just going to get hurt, or it's not important. You've been to us. You've been to a game where it's here.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just a minute particle of that compared to what everybody else experienced. And I think Jason said it perfectly in his article. It's a platform for something else. And the camaraderie. I mean, I watched every single high school game, and every single high school game, those stands were filled with people. They
Mm-hmm.
were filled with people who believed in their school. And that's just one thing that club, though I support club 100%. My daughters have been through it. I was through it. I support all of them. It's just not something that you see when you go to a club game, unless you're, going off to maybe a semi pro type situation. And I tell the girls going off to college, you're not even going to have at college what you have here, the following, the little girls that stood in the bleachers for our game, hands held, shouting, let's go Dragons. And I think there was a picture that circulated of those girls in a circle praying for that PK shootout. You won't see that at club. And so I love high school soccer. I love what Jose Rodriguez has done at Meadow Creek. I've known him for a long time. And those kinds of things, I wish everybody could experience it. And there's going to be, listen, John, there's going to be people that are going to say high school soccer is stupid. Wish we didn't have it. It's stupid. The coaches don't know what they're talking about. But at the end of the day, it's about the player in the heart of a community that really, I think, highlighted itself last week. And thank you, Jason, for writing, because it was an amazing article.
Yeah, and what I've told Jason and what I tell everybody since that has come out, and honestly, over the last 10 years and the last really 5 when we picked up our high school coverage, is that the high school FOOTBALL version of me, that version of me that is there in the fall that wears makeup and suits and things like that. I've been to those towns that are outside the great cities
Mhm.
that have in the smaller classifications or wherever. I know what it means in those towns. So to have that transferable now in my daily storytelling to where it's FUTBOL, and you can talk about a Jefferson, you can talk about a Thomasville, you can talk about a
Mhm.
Fitzgerald, you can talk about a Jeff Davis in Hazelhurst and Toombs County and Bremen and Model and all of these places where it means what you're talking about. That's why, for me, you sit there and you want to know what it means. You know what it means in the fall. Now you're seeing what it means in the spring. It's just now it has that greater amplification attached to it.
Yeah. And it is. And 30 years ago when I graduated high school, I just told you my age. It was like
So you,
that
so
a
you
little bit.
graduated when you were 8, basically.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Thank you. It's 28 plus X. That's what I tell my kids in math. A little bit of Athens was like that. but we were separated with Clark Central and Cedar Shoals. Now here in Jefferson, you've got your little Jefferson community, but now we have East Jackson, we have Commerce, we have Jackson. All of them are where they're at because of people that believed in something very passionately about high school sports. And I'm not just saying that for soccer. It's for all of it. And my greatest memories come from high school. I want those memories to be what these girls remember 10 and 20 and 30 years from now. And I love the fact that last week, those communities were truly highlighted at those championships.
So then, if you were grand exalted person in charge, your grand exalted poobah of the sport here in the state of Georgia for a day, is there one thing that you would change or update when it comes to high school soccer here in the state of Georgia?
I wish we could all rally with each other and not be so divided. We do our best to try to make everybody that we play, feel special. I think, Judson's got a great thing going on in Oconee, but I wish it didn't have to be that we were an enemy, more so that here we are and we get to play we get to play this together. And especially, as coaches, we don't need to be tearing each other down. We need to be lifting each other up. We need to be lifting each other up with our programs as well, because at the end of the day, it is about soccer, but it's about allowing these players to experience something greater. And I keep saying that. I don't want to sound redundant, but that's truly what it's about. And, I see all of those scarves behind you.
Mm-hmm.
It's because somebody believed.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody had a passion for it. In soccer, like Jason said, this is our platform.
Mm-hmm. There's this thing that's coming here in less than 30 days. I don't know if
Yeah, that thing. Mm-hmm.
When you think that it's going to spend its 5 weeks here for the first time in this hemisphere in 30 plus years, what do you want to see the impact and the legacy of it?
I want the female game to kick up, and I'm not saying that against men,
Yeah.
but that's where it was established. But after the 99ers won and getting to watch, I really took off with soccer in the 90s. So getting to watch this now 30 something plus years later, we get the NSSL team here. I think that what the World Cup is going to do is just continue to build that into something that's going to be even bigger. I would love to see more local talent do more local things and not have to go to another state or not have to, go to other platforms to try to build something. I really think that the platform here in Georgia is better than most states, and we got to do a better job of continuing to build that. And I say that, I want to infiltrate myself somewhere in that, but it's just, gosh, there's just so many opportunities now than there was 30 something years ago, John. And that in and of itself is because of people like you and people like soccer down here that just continues to build the sport.
Well, we always think of you as one of the great ambassadors in the state of Georgia, regardless of level, regardless of location, because you spend 15 20 seconds with you, the passion's there, the fire is there, that the desire is there to continue to grow the game and be one of those flag bearers that we always like to kind of chew the fat with and kind of share ideas and break bread and so on. Congratulations on the trophy that we started our conversation with. Congratulations to the entire community. You know that we're going to be knocking on your door a lot just because soccer season's over for a number 4/number 6 team in the state/country. We're going to be knocking on your door just to kind of catch up with you.
I say this, I'm as good as all the girls that are part of this program and those that I've coached in the past. I have to kind of be the one that facilitates a certain opportunity, and I have to be the one that puts the face on a podcast, but I will give no credit to myself. I give all the credit to our assistants, our girls, our parents, our athletic director, Bill Navis. He's now you want somebody to have a passion about a community. You've met him, is Bill Navis.
Mm-hmm.
But to our local clubs, our directors, just everybody. I want no credit of this. I'm just the one that has to facilitate it, and I'll take the heat and any parent that wants to complain about it and or any parent that wants to brag about it. But I appreciate everything y'all do for soccer down here, John, for what you do for high school sports in general. Madison, Jason, Jessica, she texted me right after the game. I was still mad at her for not calling it, but it's just I appreciate the word ambassador, but I couldn't be it without everybody behind me.
There you go.
Thank you.
Oh, no,
Thank you.
thank you.
It's been a pleasure, man.
Well,
And what a season.
yeah, shoot, we ain't going nowhere.
I hope I say all the right things. I hope I don't get off on tangents, but
But that's the thing, though. When we do go sideways, what I always tell folks is, and short of the questions at the end, as always, that's the amount of prepared notes that I've got.
mm,
So it's like I know what I want to talk about going in, but then when you open a door, it's up to me to go through that door, and then you open another door and another door and another door, and so that's where a lot of the conversations, it's like just going down to Beef O'Brady's and sitting at a high top,
yeah.
and that's what these are. And
Yeah.
if you open a door to go someplace, then yeah, let's go down that pathway and talk about it. So
Well, I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
no, thank you. You got to do your testing, right?
Yep, I'm heading there now. Just told him I said I'm on my way.
All right, be safe and enjoy your testing.
Thank you.
Be good. We'll see you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.